What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with the one and done preview for the Valspar Championship. And before we get to the Valspar, we will look back at the Players Championship, which unfortunately we did not get a big enough piece of. So let's go back and look at last week. Here were the most popular golfers in the field: Tiger Woods, who we had, Xander Schauffele, Brooks Koepka, Tommy Fleetwood, Sergio Garcia, and Rory McIlroy rounding out the top six. You know, outside of the quad that Tiger made, I thought we were in the running here. So just to kind of look at this a little bit, you can see I was looking through here. So Tiger finishes in T30. 10 shots off the lead. 4 of them he gave up on the par 3 17th, in which he dunked a couple into the water. You know, played much better than this score would indicate, in my opinion. Who else was popular? Let's see. Xander misses the cut, so that's great. Wipes out a big portion of the field. Koepka finished like T56, made the cut on the number, didn't do much. That basically wipes out half the, a big part of the field. Fleetwood contended. Sergio, I think, finished, T10 or so. And then Rory ends up winning this, which is a little bit unfortunate because if you, watched... basically anything that I did last week, whether it was the DFS preview, whether it was on with Pat Mayo, we talked a lot about Rory. Unfortunately, we had already used him, so we could not have rostered him at the Players Championship. So we had Tiger in our weekly, and we had Patrick Reed, who again, Patrick Reed was 9 under heading into Sunday. Shoots a 78, which is 6 over, one of the worst rounds on the course, and ends up finishing T47. So here are our two lineups. Our season-long pick, 1.8 million, right in smack dab in the middle of this field. And our weekly pick'em, 1.2 million, which is about, a third from the bottom, basically. We're in 2,092nd out of, I believe, 3,300, I believe, are in this. So we've got some room to make up. I don't want to go deep into, the DFS video where I talk more in depth about these players. So you can go watch that if you're interested. It's already posted. But this week is a much smaller prize pool, but the field it's still pretty good considering, historic Valspar championships, but it's top heavy. It falls off a cliff. DJ Rahm, Jason Day lead the way at the top. And then really like the 20th best golfer in this field is like Ryan Moore, right? Like when last week the 20th best golfer in the field was, someone really legit. So I think you need to get one of these top guys, which is something that we've talked about. We talked about at the start of the season when I created the tool. One of the mistakes that I think that I made last year and a lot of players make in general is they don't really take these fields seriously. They kind of punt these fields away when Dustin Johnson is a much more likely to win the Valspar than he is the Players Championship with such a good field. So that's a small example. So I think you have to go get one of these top guys. I think that Rahm is an interesting buy low candidate after he kind of left a lot of people disappointed last week. I'd even be fine with going out and getting Paul Casey, who now is defending his title after missing the cut last week. But the guy that really has my attention, and actually before I reveal that, I want to show you the one and done tool for this week. So you'll see that there is a pretty big drop off from the top 3 guys down to the next whatever, right? DJ, Rahm, and Day at 69,006, 69,002, and 68,005 are in this model significantly more valuable than the rest of the field. I threw together a couple of players here where, Paul Casey, he's this black bar here, outside of the Masters, there's probably other places that you can play Paul Casey and still feel pretty confident about it. Sergio, same way. Sergio doesn't necessarily model well here long term, although I like him more recently than I do long term. But the guy that really stands out to me and the guy that I'm going to roster in my weekly is going to be Patrick Reed. So I'm kind of shocked to hear myself say that. After last week, we played him in our season long because we had him earmarked for the Players Championship, and I was delightfully surprised with his play through 3 rounds. Unfortunately, he really fell off a cliff, and this is something that I mentioned in the DFS video, but I think it's worth showing here again. So here is the leaderboard from last week with strokes gained data, and if we just go to the 4th round, there was no one worse than Patrick Reed. Actually, him and Martin Kaymer both lost 6.7 strokes to the field on Sunday, the worst rounds on the course. But they did it in completely different ways. Kaymer lost 6 strokes tee to green. That's a bad sign. Lost 3.5 putting. I mean, lost in literally every category. Patrick Reed, on the other hand, lost nearly all of his strokes. He lost over 5 putting alone. That's not common, right? So if we go to Patrick Reed's player profile here and just look at his strokes gained putting numbers, you'll see here's the Players Championship where he lost 5.1. He has not lost more than 2.3 at any time this year, since, what was that? The Tournament of Champions. He's mostly gained strokes putting, and when he loses them, he loses, a half a stroke here, a half a stroke there. So for him to lose 5 in 1 round, when that was really the only colossal thing that went wrong, I'm okay with that. The rest of his game, very, very sharp. This is a place where he has found success in the past. I think he's got 2 seconds and a 7th in the last 4 years. One of them was a playoff loss. So, I mean, he literally tied for the lead after 72 rounds. So I'm now much happier to buy back in on Patrick Reed, and I still think we're going to get a really good number on him. I would also buy back on Paul Casey after he missed the cut last week and kind of let everybody down. I would get back in on him as well. The guy that we have in our season-long lineup is Louis Oosthuizen, who is a little bit worrisome because he hasn't been playing that well. But quite honestly, when we went through the DFS video, his key stats, they do fit quite a bit. Very good on par 4s. Does not make a lot of bogeys, and this is going to be a very difficult course. So I don't mind it. I don't love it by any means, but I don't mind it. So those are the 2 guys that we're going to be going with. Let me know what you think about some of these buy low candidates or guys that we might want to bounce back on this week, and let me know who you're playing. Tweet me. It's at DFS On Demand, or leave a comment below. Talk to you guys soon. See ya.